Missionaries and Pastors Organization is a group of men and women of God in Nigeria that has decided to come together to support in moving this country or this nation forward. And we're not just looking at the country alone, we're looking beyond this nation, Nigeria. And by the grace of God, one of our most visions is to make sure we become a voice to the voiceless. A lot of things are going on in Nigeria which we are not in support of. A lot are going on which, by His grace, yes, is okay. But the evil happening in this country today is bigger than the good that is happening. So we have decided to come together as a body of men and women of God in this nation to make sure that we play our own role in leadership building, in nation building, to make sure that Nigeria moves forward, and to contribute in the region of Christianity, to make sure that everything by His grace, by the grace of God, concerning the church, everything concerning believers will have peace, unity. In fact, become a movement, so that by His grace, we will contribute in bringing light in Nigeria, and darkness will be far away. So this organization is more of a voice to the voiceless. And by His grace, I believe by the caliber of people involved in this team or in this organization, we are going to move it forward by His grace. All of us came together and decided to move it into nomination than putting it a long process of doing, queuing this, queuing that, to avoid rancor and all that. So we brought get everybody involved and say, let's nominate and know the best hands to move this organization forward. And today, by the grace of God, we has built our house, appointed and nominated people who we believe that can fly this flag very well nationwide. And today, by the grace of God, we are about 16 in the East Coast, and which are able men and women. And knowing some of them, I know what they can do. So today, why we did that is to make sure that we move the organization forward, and by the grace of God, be a backbone to the success of not only Nigeria, equally Christianity in the country, and equally in West Africa. That's why I said it's beyond Nigeria.
Yeah, the Missionary and Pastors Organization is about God's end-time project. It's one of the best things that could have happened to our nation, and by extension, the world at large, given the scenario of the many events that is happening. And in adherence to our prayers, God have decided to put some people together in order to form this organization. So it's about the best thing that could happen to our nation at this particular time. Yes, capable hands were, by the grace of God, brought on board. The diversity of this organization is such that one man can't do it alone. And if you go through the people that were elected into these offices today, you will observe that they cut across our nation. So it has nothing to do with tribe. It has everything to do with unity. And we trust God that as we march along together, the nation will be seeing the results, and it will be better for it.
Yes, my assignment is very simple. As a head of a legal team, to ensure that all we do, all our operations are guided by our constitution, both the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria and the constitution that bring us together as a body. Like our president said, is we're like minds, pastors with all honesty, who that want to ensure that the truth is in place, because what we lack today in our society is truth. So the movement is for all pastors, missionaries that wants to ensure that all the legality in the country is put aside.
What can you say about the recent killing of missionaries, the recent one that happened there in the States, Nigeria? What can you say about that, sir?
Well, on behalf of Missionary and Pastors Organization, I totally condemn it. In fact, at this time, I need to ask Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, please. We voted you in the last election, believing that by the grace of God, God will use you to, as the chief security officer of this nation, to, secure us. But in as much as we understand that some certain things going on might be real, some might be political, but we urge you to use your power as the president of this nation to protect us and grant the security that we need in this country so that those things will not repeat itself again. We condemn the total act, just the Reverend Fathers that were killed. Those are missionaries. And we, the Missionary and Pastors Organization in this country, are condemning it. That we don't want to hear that again, that missionaries have been killed. Because if this thing keep going on, I'm not saying it, we're going to move into protest. But for now, we ask the President, please, by the power invested on you by we, the Nigerians, we want to ask you, please, do something. Do something for us. In as much as we are praying as missionaries and pastors, we need these killings to stop. And we beg you, we're going to support you in prayers, in our own roles, and speaking against this so there will be peace between every areas. But this thing called so-called huntsmen or whatever they call it, please do something about it. We know you have the powers. And we pray for you that God will give you a greater and better wisdom to make this thing a reality.
Yes, like the president have said, we in this organization condemn it in all totality. Because to some extent, even though we don't want to draw in religious sentiments into this, but to some extent it's beginning to dance towards that direction. Because if you have noticed the space of killing with the recent one in Benue, it's obvious that Christians are targeted. And the fact that Christian leaders are not speaking, and for those who are even speaking, you still find some aspect of condemnation, is one of the reasons why this body is coming up by the grace of God to address some of these inequalities as far as the religion in Nigeria is concerned. The body condemns it, and like the president said, we are calling on the president of the Republic of Nigeria to act very fast.
Well, like our president said as well, is we totally condemn it. It's unacceptable. I wouldn't say it's being targeted to Christians or whatever, but we know that most of the things that are going on in our society today, about 60 or 70% of it is political. And we wouldn't allow ourselves as Christians to draw into that setting. So we condemn it. We totally condemn it. But we believe that Mr. President is on top of the situation, trying to ensure that all the security agents are coming together to ensure that they bring all the people that carry out this evil. I don't want to use an English word, because this is a wicked act. It's totally unacceptable. And we believe that at the end of the day, justice will prevail.
Yeah, by the grace of God, this is about the best thing that can happen to Nigeria at this moment, and not just now, because if God is coming to help any particular nation, God must definitely need an instrument with which he will salvage a nation. And Missionaries and Pastors Organization is one that honestly is being born by God. It's a vision that God himself dropped in our hearts. And we believe God that if all the pastors in our nation and all the religious leaders and other people in our faith will also join hands together, God will be helping us to salvage the inequalities and the anomalies that is happening, particularly to this side of the religion. We believe God that we will get positive impact. We also trust God that with this organization, salvation has come for Nigeria.
Well, we strongly believe that this movement is going to bring light to our society, to all the people that wants to hear the truth. I urge them to please join this body, and by the grace of God, it will take us to the promised land. Thank you.
Yes, we speak on the behalf of the Missionary and Pastors Organization that irrespective of your religious affiliation, your tribal inclination, and whatever political space you are occupying, our advice is that everybody will go get their PVC as we prepare ahead of 2019. It's going to be a crucial year. We advise everybody to get your PVC and vote for the candidate of your choice. Please don't sell your PVC. Don't sell your votes. That is what the Missionary and Pastors Organization stands for. And on behalf of the organization, we are advising everybody to get their PVC. God bless you all.
My last word is, everybody, let us come together. All pastors, anywhere you are, it doesn't matter any church you attend to, as long as you're a missionary, you've confirmed that God called you, join us in this team so that we move Nigeria forward, we'll move the group of the word of Christianity forward, and we'll move everything that is good, not just in Nigeria, but in West Africa forward. Thank you very much.